Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show. We have 4 lovely players who will now introduce themselves. Nick, you want to start us off?
Yes. I'm Nick, I play Thaddeus, the human paladin of vengeance. I mixed 2 different intros there halfway through.
I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is a tiefling wild magic sorcerer.
I am Melissa, and I play Mara, who is a human rogue pirate.
I'm Zach, and I play Hunter, who's a warforged fighter ranger.
And he's actually a robot today.
Who this week will be able to handle whatever comes his way.
Oh, well, that's good.
I hope that's true.
So let's see, we stream on Twitch every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and then post our episodes to YouTube the following Wednesday. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items, as well as a custom wild magic table for our wild magic sorcerer over there. Our music comes from BattleBards, TabletopAudio, and Incompetech. Our new character portraits, which you can see on the cards in the top right corner, as well as in our starting soon screen, etc., come from artist named Carrie Peach, who is wonderful and talented, so you should check her out. If you're watching us on Twitch, you can check the channel page for links to pretty much everything I just mentioned and more. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, you can check the video description for similar information. Then, if you still want to know what's going on with us, for example, when we are not playing due to issues or anything like that, you can follow us on Twitter at Antiheroesanon. And other than that, we hope you enjoy the show, and we're going to get right into a recap and then straight into playing. We have a very action-packed episode lined up for today, I think. So, the party learned of the vampire Alkene's scheme to seize the Raven Queen's memories and potentially use them to ascend to godhood, or at least that was the fear of Thaddeus' deity Asaian. They then traveled to Melora's temple in Redwater, where they picked up a young cleric of Melora named Eli, as well as Dawn, the princess of the kingdom of Freydin, who is also a cleric of Pelor, the sun god. And then on the way, then they made their way to Ravenmoor, where they snuck in through the back streets on their way to one of Manus' old safe houses. But on the way, they witnessed Queen Ixlati, a former UNT, currently Medusa queen, who has been enslaving the citizens of Ravenmoor to build a pyramid over the portal to the Shadowfell in Ravenmoor. They then went into the sewers in search of Alan and some of the other orphans who Manus had been protecting in Ravenmoor. And they also, on their way, encountered Alan, who had been helping refugees down in the sewers. There we go. On their way, they encountered a drunken former UNT chief and were able to get a little bit of information out of him before sending him on his way. And then they encountered Jeremiah, a guard captain, who sort of explained the situation for the refugees in the sewers, and introduced the party to his wife, Helen, who was very, very pregnant. And it wasn't long after that before there were screams from down the tunnel, and when the party went to investigate, they discovered that a group of vampire spawn had taken out some of the forward guards. But simultaneously, Jeremiah's wife Helen went into labor. So Thaddeus and Dawn stayed back to help with that, and the rest of the crew ran ahead to deal with the fight. And so we're going to, once I get some music, open up with the chaos that is Thaddeus and Dawn attempting to deliver this baby despite complications.
Good luck.
Yeah. Right?
Be some good music for this.
And with the wee bear.
Yeah, it's not comical enough for Harmony, but it's maybe not quite as life-threatening as the battle.
Yep, we'll go with this. So Thaddeus, the scene that you've just witnessed your friends running off down the tunnel, Harmony having brought some heated water before running off, which you then use to the best of your ability, sort of sterilize a knife. The scene as you sort of open up the tent flap and walk back into the tent where Helen is about to give birth. Hold on. Oh, phew. I got really worried that I'd left the background audio way up high. No, we're at a good level. Okay. The scene
Mics
that
are on, right?
Yep.
Just making sure.
Yep. Everything's running smoothly,
Okay.
despite all efforts to stop us. So yeah, the scene you walk in on when you open up the tent flap again and sort of rush in. There's Helen, who's sort of, by all accounts, a rather plain, common woman, and she is currently screaming in quite a deal of pain. And there is blood sort of all over the bedroll that she was sitting on before. Dawn is currently kneeling by her side and sort of doing her best to sort of check her out a little bit and figure out what might be causing this problem that is causing all of this blood. There are a couple other women in the room, common folk from around Ravenmoor, who had been sort of attending to Helen before this happened. And they look as if they're sort of waiting for someone to tell them what they should be doing, because this is a situation they haven't seen before. And then there is Jeremiah, who is sort of holding Helen's hand, but he's talking constantly sort of to her, but also to himself. He's like, everything's going to be okay, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. And you can tell that he is himself panicking, and it seems to be snowballing towards Helen as well, as you can see that she's just sort of almost on the verge of hyperventilating with panic,
I think
based on the situation. And Dawn sort of looks to you with her eyes wide and says, I'm working on assessing what's going wrong with this labor.
is that her blood or the baby's?
I can't tell at this point. I'm working on figuring that out. I need you to marshal these people and figure out what they can be doing at this moment. And she sort of goes back to her attending Helen.
Like, I think that is going to snap you. And points at one of the women.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here? What training do you have?
Not much. I've helped a couple other villagers give birth before, but nothing like this. This is so much blood. And you can see that she's gone. This woman is, she's very pale, as if the sight of blood is a little bit much for her.
Alright, what's your name?
It's Rose.
Rose, ignore the blood. Do what you would do normally.
Okay. And she kind of is
If
holding
something bad
her-
happens, we'll get to it then. But for now, just ignore it.
Okay. And she kind of like puts her hand over her mouth and kneels down next to Helen as well. And can you make a persuasion check?
That's 20.
20. Okay. 20 total, not natural.
Yeah,
saving.
duh.
You seem to have reassured her quite a bit, and she, now that she's sort of got her hand covering her mouth, she's not like looking down at the blood or anything like that. She seems to have taken back a little bit of her calm, and she begins to start working to get Helen into the proper position to make this easier.
Are there rags or anything I can use to kind of like mop up? Because it
Yeah.
seems like if the problem is that they're having difficulty at the sight of the blood, maybe we can start to mix them up or at least cover it up so they don't have to like stare at a giant pool of blood while they're working.
Yeah, there are rags present that one of the sort of attendant women brought with them. And as you kind of motion towards them, she kind of snaps into action. She's like, oh, okay, right. And she goes to start cleaning up the blood.
And don't bother cleaning it, just cover it up.
Oh, okay. And she does start cleaning it at first, but the reason that you have to follow up with don't bother cleaning it, just cover it up, is the fact that as soon as she starts cleaning it, there's more.
Yeah.
But that seems to have gotten them in order. Dawn. Let's see. It's very well. Dawn has sort of set up like, she's put like a blanket over Helen a little bit to also help cover it up. And she has been investigating things in there. And she sort of comes back into view and says, I think I figured out what's wrong. The baby's in there sideways. It's not going to come out. At least not without some help.
Alright.
And meanwhile, Helen's losing a lot of blood. She's not going to survive if we don't give her some sort of heal.
Alright, well I can take care of the healing. If you can take care of the healing, kind of get in there and reach.
And as Dawn says that, you can see that Jeremiah loses his cool entirely. You can see that he's actually squeezing Helen's hand really hard, and you can see that he's like on the verge of like fainting from panic right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you get out.
What? No, I need
Out
to be
now.
okay. Roll an intimidation check.
Oh, that's bad. It's 11. It's a 2-1 die.
As you yell that, he looks like he's about to release her hand, but then Helen looks to you and says, "He stays!" Just through clenched teeth.
All right, stay, but stand over there.
Okay. Roll another persuasion check.
That's a natural 20.
Oh.
So that's 29 all.
Okay. He sees how Thaddeus is keeping his cool despite the situation.
Fearless.
Yep. And he's like, okay. And he sort of moves away.
Oh yeah, would it? I guess this isn't like a condition that can be imparted by a. It's not like an enemy is frightening. But Thaddeus does have that aura of.
Yeah, and I think part of your persuasion check is that he starts to feel the effects of that aura, and sort of his panic dwindles as he sort of moves off to the side a little bit and takes up more of a reassuring position next to Helen, where he's almost like cradling her shoulders and things like that.
All right.
Giving her a little bit more reassuring.
I'm gonna get down to where he was and hold her hand and lay on hands and feel her.
Okay. Let's make a check for Helen here. You can see that when you get down close to Helen, you can see that she's sort of on the verge, like she is in quite a bit of pain, and anything more would probably be putting her into unconsciousness. And when you lay on the magical healing, you can see that the blood flow stops just a little bit. How much are you?
10.
10, okay. The blood flow stops just a little bit, and Dawn looks to you and says, "That's good. I might be able to turn the baby in there, but that's going to take a lot of work. The other option is we can cut it out, but we're going to need constant magical healing if that's the route we go."
I'll hold her still so that you're able to.
Okay. Then Dawn will. Can you make a strength athletics check to try and hold her still?
Yes.
I'm going to give her advantage to roll against her. She's got a 16.
She's got to be the 19.
Okay, so yeah, she is. It's not that she's trying to struggle against you so much as that she's just in so much pain that she has to. Her body is constantly moving sort of on its own almost. But you manage to hold her still, which is enough to give Dawn a chance to. Dawn disappears back under the blanket for a minute or two. And when she comes back out, she says, "I think I've turned it a little bit, but she's bleeding really hard again. I'm going to cast a healing spell. Just hold her still again for a second."
All right.
Can you roll one more? Let's check. You're looking to be 19 this time.
I got a 22.
22, perfect. So yeah, you managed to hold her still. And Dawn casts a spell which you would recognize as a cure wound spell, and you can see that it stops the blood flow a little bit. And then Dawn says, "Okay, just hold her still a little bit longer. I'm going to try one more time to position the baby and see if I can get it in the right position." And Dawn disappears again, back in the blanket. And a few minutes go by of intense screaming on Helen's part, attempts at comforting on Jeremiah's part. Let's see how he's doing. Having calmed down, his words seem to be having quite a powerful effect on calming Helen down a little bit, and she's hyperventilating less and less. And then finally for Dawn, I'm going to make one more check.
What is that other woman? What is Rose doing? Is she doing anything to help?
Yeah, she's sort of applying water, to her forehead, keeping her calm. She's trying to keep her in the proper position, things like that, and assisting Dawn as well.
Okay.
After a few more minutes, Dawn emerges, and says, "Okay, I think the baby's in a natural enough position that hopefully it can come out now. But there's still a lot of internal bleeding. Things are not as they should be. I'm gonna have to keep healing."
No, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
This is going to get another way on hands.
Okay, how much?
A 10.
That does quite a bit. And Dawn begins to sort of start coaching Helen through pushing with proper intervals and things like that. And it's at that point that you hear the remainder of the guards from outside who are trying to marshal to go support your friends. And you hear them shouting from the direction of the tunnel. "Things are worse than we thought. There's a whole group of undead. Some of them look to be have pointed fangs. Could be vampires." And they're like shouting, "What should we do? Where's Captain Jeremiah?" And they seem to be in sort of a disorder, unable to marshal to go and aid your friends. But you can hear them shouting from the position in the tent.
Dawn, you're confident that you can take care of this? Everything's all right now with the baby?
Hopefully. I think with my healing and the experience of these two, and she gestures at Rose and the other one, we should be okay at least for a little bit.
Right.
Go take care of your friends.
I'm going to go.
But hurry back if you can. Things could get worse any minute.
Good luck.
And she sort of gives you a nod and then turns back to Helen as you exit the tent.
Yeah, Jeremiah, back in your place.
He was still back there.
No, I'm saying like take my place.
Oh, okay. He's like, okay, right. And he shuffles around and grabs onto Helen's hand and continues trying to reassure her through this. You can see that the guards are trying to sort of marshal themselves, but they're having trouble getting their gear on because they're all panicked. Thaddeus could either stop and sort of help marshal them, or head directly to help his friends. What would Thaddeus do?
I think these people are just going to die if I help them get there quickly.
So you want to just rush past them?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other option, as we talked about earlier, is you could dash the full sort of 7 to 10 minutes down the hallway and arrive with a level of exhaustion, but within the next couple rounds.
Yeah, I thought about possibly casting haste on myself, but then that would leave me open for that one round. I don't think that's good. If I like arrive there just in time to like.
I think haste would probably put you like 3/4 of the way down the tunnel and ahead of your other time by quite a bit, if you wanted to.
Good reason. Probably just gaining a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna cast this.
Okay, so yeah, you sort of run up to the guards, see they're having troubles, and decide that they are probably going to get themselves killed if they go anyways. Cast haste on yourself and dash into the dark tunnels. I assume like sword drawn to eliminate the way.
Yeah.
And with that, we will switch back to combat. Thaddeus will arrive, I think, in the next round after this one. That was almost bad. Ooh. So.
Yeah, County Grand knows it. Alright, back to this.
Let me just switch the battle map on. You had some good rolls in that, by the way.
That was very I was worried that I would have to make medicine rolls. All Thaddeus had to do was stand around and order people, which he's good at, and be strong, which he's also good at.
It's like someone thought about other things Thaddeus could do. Okay, so we're at the top of the next round, which is going to start with Hunter. To reset the scene,
Okay.
let me just reestablish the scene. The group of you had run down the tunnel and come to sort of this crossroads where you had run previously into a group of guards who were sort of watching the tunnel. And when you arrived, you found their bodies massacred with bite marks all over them. And it wasn't long before you saw the source of the bite marks, which was this group of 8 vampiric common folk who came around the corners and began to swarm at you. Since the start of combat, Mara has been grabbed and bitten a couple of times. So has Byakko the tiger. But Eli and Harmony have managed to control quite a bit of the chaos bred by these vampires, using large spells like Storm Sphere and things like that. But when we ended last time, a creature had stumbled around the corner. A horrific-looking creature that looks somewhat like this. Y'all can see it.
Yeah.
I'll show the camera here. With webbed fingers, with claws at the end of them, and a big gaping mouth at the top of its emaciated body. And it had come around the corners talking about how hungry it was, as it had then taken a big bite out of Byakko the tiger, grabbed onto Byakko, restrained it, and then bit it. And that's where we're starting. So, Hunter, it's your turn.
Okay. Can someone point at my figure just to make sure I know which one it is?
Yeah, it's this guy back here.
Hang on, let me catch up to the stream. Because I can't actually see it on the
You're by the 2
straight
little
here.
black dots in the back, across from Harmony.
Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is, jet boot fly directly across on the other side.
Okay.
And then I'll pull my great bow out, and I will make 6 shots.
Fortunately for you, the vampire whose threat range you're leaving already made an attack against Harmony.
Sorry, I couldn't hear all of that. What was that?
Oh, the vampire whose threat range you're leaving already made an attack against Harmony, so there's no opportunity attack.
Okay. So Mara's still grappled, right?
Yes. I think it's
Okay, so I'm gonna make some shots against the vampire that is grappling Mara.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my scope this turn. I'm gonna make these sharpshooter attacks. So I got 25 to hit on the first one.
You're not quite within range to use your scope, but if you scoop back, you can be, so we'll put you
Oh,
there.
you can't use it? I can't use it?
You can now.
What's the minimum?
We're just gonna move
Oh,
a
okay,
bit.
yeah.
I just had to move you.
You're good.
I'm good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna use my bowstring on the first shot.
Okay.
I rolled a 2, which is paralyzed.
So that's a con
It's
save.
a con save. Paralyzed for 1 minute, may repeat save at the end of each turn.
So it rolled a 16, so I think that passes.
That passes. It passes by 1, I think. It's
Yep.
15. Bend luck.
Did I use my reaction already though?
Nope.
No?
No.
And it's paralyzed?
You got a 2 on a d4, he would be paralyzed.
Okay, I'll bend luck for you. Since you're right there next to me. 4.
Okay. So yeah, he is paralyzed.
Okay. He also takes 22 magic piercing damage. And then I'm going to make... So he's paralyzed. Does that mean he stops his grab on Mara then, right? Obviously, or not?
He still is holding on to Mara, technically.
But he's not gonna be able to do anything after
But he
that.
can't do anything with it. Okay, so I think that one's good then. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Okay.
And I'm going to make the rest of the shots maybe... Are any of the other vampires weak looking?
The one that you just shot is by far the weakest looking, because everyone has
Okay.
been trying to free Mara.
Okay. I'm going to start shooting the big guy then.
Okay.
That's pretty bad. I got a 14 to hit.
That doesn't quite do it. Your arrow goes sailing off into the darkness behind it, and he kind of looks at you and goes,
Well, that's okay because I got a crit on the next one.
okay.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this a tripping attack. Or wait, no, tripping or... Yeah, we'll do trip. And he has to make a DC 19 strength saving throw.
He rolled a 1. He fails.
So he falls prone. And he's going to take 17, 18. 25, 35 damage.
Wow.
And then
The light source is on Hunter's shield, right?
do the arrows have full effect on him or not?
Well, that's what I'm trying to determine.
Sorry, okay, do I need this?
Do you guys remember where Eli cast light? Was it on Hunter's shield?
That's what I
Yes.
remember.
Yes.
What is the range for light spell?
It is bright light in a 20-foot and then dim light for an additional 20 feet.
Okay, so he's in dim light. So your attack doesn't. It's the same thing as when you fought the shadow dragons. The shadows kind of swirl around him a little bit and protect him from some of the damage. So how much
Okay.
damage was it?
35.
35. Okay.
Okay. So other than that, so that was okay, so that's 3 attacks. So I think that is good for me then.
Okay. Then it is the vampire's turn.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, vampire turn.
5, 10, 15. This one has to dash, but it's going to take that. And then these two. So 60 feet off that way.
That's under.
Okay, so you see one of the vampires makes its way out of Eli's storm sphere and crawls up behind Eli.
Oh, wasn't it in the storm sphere at the beginning of the turn?
Yes, it was. So roll some damage for actually 2 of them were in there.
Remind myself how this works. Oh no, it ends its turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they all made their way out of it then.
Okay.
One of them has to use all of its turn to end next to Harmony and Hunter, but it kind of climbs up out of the sewage water and it bares its teeth at you.
Right.
Harmony right in your face. Then I see. Oh, okay. So I'll make some attacks against Yapko, some attacks against Mara, some attacks against Eli, and that's it. And then the other 2 that ran off sort of disappeared back down the tunnel the way you came.
That's bad.
That is bad. Hunter, you're supposed to stay there and keep them from running into the town, and now they're running into the town.
Dice, though. That's the thing.
That's true.
We don't know that though.
Nope.
Hunter!
So let's see. Here's the attacks against
I'm doing what I
Yapko.
can.
Yapko's AC is better than an 11, right?
It is, yeah.
It's not better than a 21.
No.
So Yapko takes 7 slashing damage
Okay.
from one of them. And then here's 2 attacks against Mara. The bite will hit. So Mara takes 6 piercing damage as the vampire is grappled. Oh no, he can't. He's paralyzed. Never mind. Mara takes no damage.
Yay, I look out twice.
And then that one that is next to Mara and Eli will make a claw attack against Mara. Is your AC better than 16?
It is 16.
It is 16, so this hits. So you take 8 slashing damage from that.
Can I dodge?
Yep. So you could dodge that down to 4.
Okay.
It's grappled but barrel.
And then
Because
make-
grapple doesn't mean you're restrained. He's like holding your arm.
Okay.
Something. Here.
there's a 17 against Eli.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a claw. So Eli takes 8 slashing damage. And then here's 2 more against Eli.
Oh my god.
Ooh, this is bad.
No.
A 16.
Uh-huh.
So that vampire then grapples onto Eli and gets it in its grip and then got a natural 20 on its bite.
Oh no!
Oh no.
So Eli will take
Oh no!
11 piercing damage
Uh-huh.
and 14 necrotic damage, and its maximum HP is reduced by that 14.
14.
Yep.
Ouch.
So the vampire kind of gets Eli in its claws, and he's sort of unexpected. He's not expecting it because this is the one that climbed out of the water. And Eli kind of turns just in time to see it coming, is grabbed by it, and then screams in pain as its teeth pierce into his neck. And that's the vampire's turns. And then it is Byakko, the white tiger.
8.
Okay, so Byakko, with his 4 HP left, what are you gonna do? You could go out swinging, I guess.
He is also
let's see.
currently restrained by the hungry.
What was that?
He is also currently restrained by the menacing creature.
Oh, is he restrained right now?
Yep.
Or
So you have to break
without
free.
yes? He is
Yeah.
restrained or not?
He is restrained.
Oh, okay. Kind of cut out a little bit. Okay. So, how do you break out of a restraint?
You could use your action to try and get out of it.
Okay. Does he have disadvantage because he's not prone?
I would give Byakko advantage to escape.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should do that. That's fine.
Okay, so you can make an athletics or acrobatics check to try and get
Okay. I rolled a natural 20 for Byakko.
out. Okay, easy. Yeah, Byakko is free of its grasp.
So now you
Kind
can,
of just worms his way out. And then, shoot, I guess he's gonna. Oh boy. I really don't want to hang around this guy because I think he's gonna die if he still sits there.
Let him run.
Yeah.
Takes
But he
everything
does-
those
he
two
does-
that ran away.
He also doesn't have the. Can he? So I don't want him to take attacks opportunity from the other vampires. So maybe he can like jump over the little causeways there or whatever. The water.
if you take those away, it's not a lot.
Yeah, he's
He'll
still.
take it away from the big guy regardless, I think. But he's prone.
He's surrounded.
Is he
Yeah,
surrounded?
Pretty
Oh, okay.
surrounded unless he goes
Well,
back
wait,
into the.
but he's only. I mean, he's a medium creature. So where's he actually at?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I thought he was only in range of the big guy.
He's in the range for the big guy and maybe one more.
Ethan, how many are next to him?
Put him there.
Okay, so two. The big guy and one other guy.
Okay, I mean, I feel like this is not a good thing. Well, yeah, I guess I'll try and jump over the waterways then.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll an athletics check then.
Okay. Athletics, that is 15.
15 will be enough to make it. Unfortunately, even at disadvantage, the hunger rolled a 17. On
Did
its
you roll
opportunity.
17 to hit?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's his AC.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Cool.
Goodbye, my tiger.
He was
It's a good tiger.
So he takes 10 piercing damage and a bunch of necrotic damage. So I think that.
So he's not.
Yeah.
So he's at 0.
Byakko basically leaps out to go over the sewage water that flows between these canals, and the hunger kind of claws out at its back, and you can see that the claw rakes the tiger's back, and Byakko falls unconscious in the water halfway through.
Oh, beautiful. So is he unconscious or does he get unsummoned?
He
So
is
to speak.
unconscious, it appears.
Okay. Fun.
Harmony.
Great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Banishment
Ooh.
at 5th level, so I can get 2, and I'm gonna get the big ugly guy, the hungry.
You can also still see the two that are running down the corridor.
Nope, and I'm gonna get the one that's on Eli.
Oh, okay. The one that's grappling him.
The one that's trapped on Eli, and then the big ugly guy that was attacking Jeff.
What kind of save is it? Charisma?
It's whatever you're bad at.
Is it charisma or wisdom?
It's charisma.
Fortunately for you, Charisma's what he's bad at. You want to know what the total was?
Oh, don't laugh.
Was it higher than 5?
No, it was a 1. Rolled a 3 minus 2.
Nice.
So the big guy blinks out of existence. And the vampire that is next to Eli rolls its charisma save and rolls a 10. So it blinks out of existence as well.
Yes.
If you would just move
Nice.
aside from that.
You meant this one?
The one, yeah, whichever one of those is grappling Eli. I don't remember which
Oh.
one it was.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's that one in its back.
Okay.
The one in the back.
Oh, and one back. This one, we'll put these over here in the blank dimension.
Awesome.
And I
You have
am
the
going to okay. Then I'm going to use Quicken Spell and Shocking Grasp the zombie that's right next to me.
Okay.
Zombie, undead, vampire, whatever it is.
Roll to hit. Also check for wild magic on banishment.
That was 13.
13 is not quite enough. The vampire kind of has this speed that it just.
Oh, but I can Tides of Chaos it. I'm gonna do
It's true,
that.
you can.
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
That's 27.
That'll do.
Okay, so wild magic. Nope. And damage, which is 3d8 lightning damage, and he can't take reactions. Okay, that's 11 lightning damage, and he can't take reactions until the start of his next turn. And I'm gonna jump across the waterway to the other side again.
Okay.
Would you also check for wild magic on banishment?
I did.
Oh, okay.
That was that roll. I didn't check for wild magic on Shocking Grasp because it's cantrip.
Gotcha.
But I rolled, yeah, it did not trigger.
Then it's Eli's turn.
Okay. What's Eli gonna do? What is this one in this cost? I've never cast it before.
Ah!
Which one is it?
Beacon of Hope.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the
It's a third-
promising sounds
It's a 3rd level
sounds
spell.
hopeful.
20-foot radius sphere of boiling. Oh, that's storm sphere.
I like what?
The spell bestows hope and vitality. That sounds more like it. Choose any number of creatures within range, which is 30 feet. For the duration, each target has advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regains the maximum number of hit points from
Yeah,
any
but nobody's in this one for now, except for Yaka, which is bad.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna cast this because it doesn't really have any good benefits.
It's like a good before battle,
Yeah.
beginning of the battle.
What else does Eli have? Eli has Earth and Grasp, which isn't bad. Maybe I'll lock down this spawn over here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna cast Earth and Grasp with that spawn.
Alright. What kind of save is that?
That is a strength saving throw.
Alright.
And Eli's DC is 16.
Vampire rolls a 15, so just below. So it is grasped by a
Nice.
earthen claw that just jumps out of the wall,
Awesome.
and kind of these bricks just form around the vampire and hold it there.
Alright. And it is restrained and it takes 7 bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
I can do more things. Yeah, it's ongoing. It's a concentration spell. So yeah, this guy is locked down. Around here.
Anything else for Eli?
Anything else? I feel like he's in kind of a bad way. Wait, have I used healing hands? No, I think I have.
You have not, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna use healing hands on myself.
Okay. So Eli, sort of, his body flares with divine light. You can see that some of his wounds stitched together a little bit. The hungry is banished.
Wait, am I able to do that? I
Yeah,
think
you
that might be an action. Yeah, it's not. It's not a bonus action.
Good
Yeah,
point.
What else does he have? I don't think he's got anything else.
think that's it.
And that's it for Eli. The Hungry is banished. It is Mara's turn. Mara, you're still grappled by this vampire, but it seems to be paralyzed and unable to move at the moment.
Alright, what I want to know, guys, is I've still got 2 shots of breathing fire left, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You won't get a sneak attack on breathing fire. You are going to get advantage if you hit a strange creature.
And on the paralyzed one, you can instant crit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
it's
what I was going to ask is
but that lasts for an hour.
if I could roll it on my short bow.
Probably
No.
not. It's like blowing a fireball at your hand.
yeah. I don't think that's a good
Kind
idea.
of a bad idea.
Let's see.
Alright. But that, yeah, you have that for an hour, so if you want to take the crit on the restraint weapon.
Okay. So I want to use the I guess the region.
Right.
Raijin, okay. You do have, because you're
Right.
still restrained and trying to get around the creature itself, you do have disadvantage. But you'd have advantage because it's paralyzed, so it's just a normal roll.
Gonna roll for me, Hunter.
Oh yeah, sure.
No, you roll it.
I'll roll it. Okay. That would be a 22.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Yeah.
So this is a critical
It's a
hit with
crit.
your sneak attack damage, which is 1,000,000 d6.
So I double it.
Wait, yeah, you double all the dice. So sneak attack is not open, so you get 14 d6.
You can roll it if
Oh
you want,
my
but I'm
God.
pretty sure this thing is dead.
Wow, 2 more.
You watched a few of its wounds stitched up back
And then
together, but
plus
not
whatever
anywhere near that much.
Dagger damage is.
1d6.
1d6 plus 1d4?
Yeah.
There's no d6. No d4 is there. Yeah.
Plus 5 at the end of all of this.
Oh my god, so many sixes!
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, it's dead. It's toast.
That thing would have gone from
No,
full,
don't count it though, because
from
that's.
full HP.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Alright. Into the death dimension.
Count it though, because that's a
Okay.
lot of sixes.
I guess I shouldn't
It's
say
a
that.
lot of ones
Because
too, though.
the death dimension is like a real place where we're going to live. So
56.
Yep, it's
Did
dead.
you add your plus 5 to the end?
Yeah. I think that's the same as last time. I got 56. Which is, I'm going to write down. It's thunder.
Is it thunder or lightning? Lightning damage?
It is lightning damage.
Yeah.
And then it sort of loses its grasp on you and falls backwards dead on the ground. Your blood's still dripping from its fangs, but you do still have your offhand attack if you want to turn around and stab the one that's got Eli.
yeah.
Okay.
No, the one that had Eli, I banished.
Yeah, that guy's
Oh,
gone.
that's true.
But there is one more.
Right, there's still
one more.
more.
He's not the one grappling Eli.
No.
Right.
Okay.
The one that's grappled by Eli.
The one next to Eli.
Okay. So, no sneak attack. So just do it.
Just roll the hit. Roll the hit first.
Getting my stuff ready. One thing at a time. 17.
17 just hits. Yep.
Nice.
Plus, so that's 5 is 12.
No, you don't get the plus 5 on
Yeah.
top. It's just 7.
Oh, so just 7.
Anything else from Mara? Do you want to run away, stay there? If you run away, it might swipe at you.
I'll just stay there.
Okay. Then it is their Shadow's turn. So, one Shadow attack against Hunter, one against Mara or Eli.
Okay.
We'll go Mara, and then that's it. So here comes Hunter. That's a natural 1, of course. And against Mara, might actually hit.
Either way.
Does 16 hit Mara?
Yep.
Okay. So you suffer 9 points of necrotic damage, and your strength score is reduced by 3.
Oh,
What does that drop your strength score to?
To 9.
9, okay. Yeah, you can feel as this shadow reaches out and its cold fingers slash against you. Not only is there a like a rotting feeling as it touches your skin, but also you can feel yourself get physically weaker. and it just feels unhealthy, almost. Then it is Thaddeus' turn, and you would have started next round, but running down the tunnel, you can see 2 vampires spawn running towards you.
Is my haste still up?
No, not at this
Okay,
point.
I was
It would
gonna
have cut out a few rounds back.
All right, let's start carving into him.
Okay. One of them looks to be in perfectly fine health. It has slashes in its clothing that indicate it might have been hurt before, but you can't see any wounds there. The other one looks like it might have some like bludgeoning damage on its body, like it has bruises and things like that. Not much.
I'll go for the bullet.
Okay.
You gotta start somewhere. Okay, that's an 18 on die and a 20.
What's it to do? And you can see off in the distance, not far off, maybe like 60 feet, you can see light coming off Hunter's shield and a few more of these creatures menacing your friends.
These are undead, I see.
They are.
I need to roll the cold damage separately.
I know they don't resist. Great.
Nope, they do not resist cold.
This is. Right, so 10 cold and 18 radiant.
Okay.
28 old.
Yeah, when you hit it with the radiant damage, actually, is it? No, it's not vulnerable. It just isn't resistant. Okay. Yeah, when you hit it with the radiant damage, it hisses at you and shirks back, or tries to get away from your blade. Was that both attacks or just one?
That was both attacks.
Okay. And those 2 vampires kind of group around you and try to get some sort of advantage by working together. Anything else from Thaddeus?
No, I'm gonna save my stuff.
Okay, then it is Hunter's turn.
Okay. How far do the vampires move away down that hallway?
They're maybe like 45 feet away from you.
You can
60
see
feet.
So can I shoot them?
Yeah, you can see them
right
as you
now.
turn around. You can see the glow from Thaddeus' sword. He seems to have come to reinforce you guys. He's just down the hallway, engaging with these vampires.
Okay. I would like to, because if I shoot right now, I'll have disadvantage because of that vampire next to me, right? Or is that how it works? Or
Yes, that's correct.
so I'm gonna fly up back to the other side again, and he can't take reactions, right? Because of Harmony's thing.
Right, he can't.
Okay, so I'm gonna freely fly to the other side, place my bow again, and make 3 shots against the ones that he is fighting.
Okay.
10 feet slide.
All right, scope, sharpshooter. We got 20 on the first attack.
Okay,
I'm
that'll
gonna use
hit.
the bowstring, knock out the charge. I rolled a 9,
Cold damage.
which is disintegrate. It's
Okay,
a con save.
let me roll that.
Disintegrate. That's so good.
He fails.
Okay, so he takes an extra 4d8 force damage,
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
and it'd be okay. So I'm gonna roll that for us. Disintegrate. Let me see here. There's that. There's this.
I always think of it as like
And
the force is like not against your body, but like
I'm
against
gonna
the
make
particles.
this.
that
I'm gonna
make
make this
up
a
your body.
goading attack. So he's gonna have disadvantage on anyone he doesn't attack. That's not me.
Okay,
I think that's what it is. It's a wisdom saving throw of 19.
rolls a 13, so that's okay.
Okay. And the first damage is. Do you need it broken up? It's magic and force.
I do not.
Magic piercing force, yes.
You can
Okay.
roll to me at the same time.
So 14, 24, 28, 31, 35, 45, plus. That's 53 damage.
Yeah, so your arrow pierces into that one, and as the tip of the arrow embeds in it, there's a flash of like sickening green light. And Thaddeus, you watch as the vampire who you were engaging with, that you just attacked with this radiant light, just turns into ash and like
Explodes
explodes all over you.
dust.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely
Yeah,
has disadvantage to attack anybody else now.
As 2 more arrows streak in and hit the other one. Hopefully. Let's see. Yep, that is 22 to hit.
Yep.
And the next one is higher than that, so I'm guessing that hits too. Okay. And I don't have any superiority dice left. I think I have 1 more left, but I will hold it. And I'm just going to do damage on these ones. Okay, so it's 12 plus 32. That's 48 damage for both attacks.
Okay. These ones are resisted quite a bit.
Is
You
that
can
in
see-
Thaddeus' light as well?
Yep.
Okay, so then that is, I said 48, right? So 24 damage total,
Yep, that's correct.
if it's half. And,
Anything else for Hunter?
yeah, do I have any movement left? Because I moved, I can't really see the squares that
Moved,
well.
felt like-
You moved 20 feet.
Yeah, you've got like 10 feet left.
Can I move 10 feet back towards Piako?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, and then that'll be my turn.
Okay. Well, then it is the vampires. What's left of them?
One more of those.
This one's restrained.
You are at speed. There it is. Okay.
She distracted.
Next.
You should have it like it was a surprise there.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, what is the secondary effect for the paralyzed bowstring?
For paralyzed?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Okay, this says paralyzed for 1 minute, a repeat save at the end of the turn. And then I'll pull it up in the book to see what it says for paralyzed. Wait, I thought the paralyzed one was dead.
You're right. It
Yeah.
is. Never mind. I'm
Did
crazy.
Mara kill that one?
Yep. I'm crazy.
Yes, I did.
So
Do you
the
still
only
need
one,
it?
No. The only one that is in trouble is the restrained one. So it's going to try and escape from the hand.
Okay.
It needs higher than a 12.
Yes.
So it is still grasped there. And does it take more damage?
Take 2 more bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
Snake eyes.
And then one of them sort of crosses through the water towards Harmony and will slash at your feet.
Cool.
So we'll make 2 attacks against you. There is a... These are wolf claws. 21 and an 18.
Okay. Yeah, they both hit.
Yep.
Cool. Well, it's about to get real bad, y'all.
So you take 16 slashing damage total,
Cool.
as it's just kind of slashing at your feet.
I've got this whole thing
Oh,
of pencils. No, I've got this whole thing of pencils right here. In front of my freaking face.
Yep.
Sorry, how much was that?
16 slashing damage total.
16 total, but it was 2 attacks, so I need to know each attack so I can
8
make
and
my
8, actually.
concentration.
It was even, 8 and 8.
Okay, so it'll be 2, 10.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right, you're concentrating on something.
Yeah, I'm concentrating on something. 16.
The other vampire that's able to do anything will try to grab at Eli, I guess. It's going to succeed. That's a 17 on the dice. So it does no damage with its claws, but then it gets to try and bite at him.
Can I also hellish rebuke when you attack me?
You absolutely can.
Yes.
So
Well, that's going to be your action. And they need to
You mean then what something?
then look your citizen's concentration checks.
Oh, the concentration checks first, and then I'll decide.
um,
Rolling them both at once. Yeah, they're both
Alright.
good.
Alright.
So yeah, I'm gonna hellish rebuke.
so the one that while you're rolling that damage, and I will roll a dex save in a second. I'm going to work out the damage for Eli, because one of them grabs at him again and sinks its fangs into his throat, and does
Wait, what was the attack roll there?
very high.
It's higher than 11.
7? No. 5 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then very low on the necrotic damage. Only 4 necrotic damage.
How much?
4.
Okay. Eli's not looking good, guys.
I'm on my way.
And then. Okay, I need a dex save against harmony. That's a fail, so it takes the full hellish rebuke.
The full 3d10. Aye.
Eli rolled extremely well on his saves for his concentration.
Cool.
Math. 12 fire damage.
Okay. This is this.
Oh wait, he resists necrotic damage. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm
So
gonna give him some that.
Match HP back.
give him a little bit back. Yep.
Do you
Then
remember how
it
much
is-
he took
Well,
that
it's
first time?
the
Oh yeah.
the
It's
difference
yeah.
between 30.
You took like 12 and something else.
Then it is Byakko's turn. Can you roll a death save for
So he's
Byakko?
gonna make a death save.
14.
Did you do that beacon thing? Or not?
You did not.
Okay, I rolled a 3.
Okay, so that's 1 fail for Byakko.
Oh no!
Harmony,
I'll save him.
it's your turn.
Okay. Ow. What is left? This
1 vampire
asshole.
slashing at
The
you.
one that's in the water right now, like, how does he look?
Of the ones that you can see, those 3 that are in your area, he is the least damaged.
Cool. Alright.
In fact, on their turn, they get a little bit of HP back.
Oh.
As you can see, their wounds stitched together a little bit.
Here. Okay. Sorry, I just haven't thought this far ahead. I'm going to firebolt the one that's near Eli.
Okay, that one is actually wrapping onto Eli, so that's probably a smart move.
Firebolt. It's a 25.
Yep, that's a hit.
Good. 3D something. 3D. I haven't used firebolt in forever. 3D10. Wow. Yeah, that's 12. 12 fire damage. And I'm going to I'll quicken spell and shocking grasp the one next to me.
The stance again.
Yep.
$16 will not quite do it. The
Can I
vampire.
bend luck on myself? No, well, it's my turn. I could.
You could, yep. Now you get your reaction for this round, though.
That's fine. I'm gonna do it because this is not good. So it doesn't matter.
Nope, it doesn't matter. Whatever you roll, it will hit.
I rolled
Actually,
3.
hold on, sorry, I've been reading their AC wrong. 16 does hit.
Oh, then I'm not gonna waste that
Yeah.
bend luck.
Sorry, I was thinking of the Hungry's HP, which is higher.
I was
Or not
gonna
HP,
say.
AC.
Alright, so 3d8 lightning, I think. It's just a mess. I didn't get it properly set up today. Okay. Nice. 12. 12 lightning damage to that guy.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna jump over. I'll make myself. I'm gonna jump over. How far can I jump?
I mean, you can glide across there, but not too much further.
And how much movement does it take up? 5
The
feet?
same amount.
5 feet or 20 feet?
However far you jump, so yeah, 20 feet.
Oh, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Then it is Eli's turn,
Okay.
and I can take over.
Yeah,
Um,
since you're Thaddeus now.
Okay, yeah.
Eli he's grappled. He is going to,
He is not used healing points. He's going to do your last turn.
Okay, are you running to save Byakko?
I'm
Because
running to
if you are,
save.
then I'll save Eli.
Sure.
I'm running to save myself. If I
Okay.
see Byakko there, then yes.
Okay.
yeah, sure, we'll do that.
I have a good berry.
Eli basically clings for his holy symbol and will cast a spell. The creature needs to make a con saving throw. Vampire that is grabbing him fails the con saving throw. And you watch as sort of bugs of all kinds, like centipedes and mites and things like that, begin to crawl out of the cracks of the sewer and grab onto the vampire and bite into it. Eli is 8 points, so he does 2d6 damage.
God.
I've never seen this cantrip used before.
Which one was it?
Infestation.
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 And the creature must move its speed. Wait, hold on. Move 5 feet in a random direction. Okay, let's go that direction.
Wow.
And then the vampire sort of lets go of him and moves this way.
Okay.
As it's just kind of like flailing with all these bugs crawling about it and biting into it. Then it is Aubrey's turn. It's vanished. Mara.
How much damage did you do? The 2d6?
It looked like he did about 6 damage, which Mara can tell somehow.
Because she's taking copious notes.
Okay.
Captain's log. Vampire took 6 damage.
For your notes,
So-
it is poison.
So this guy's restrained. You're going to have advantage if you attack that.
Okay.
But the other one is close to us.
Let's try to kill that one that's restrained.
Okay.
Okay, so he's far enough away I should probably use the short bow.
You could run up to him if you want.
Okay.
Which would you like to do?
Special powers too.
Your daggers
Yeah,
do
your
more
short bow.
damage, and you can use the offhand attack.
Okay.
The short bow, you can stay far away.
It's new.
This one doesn't have special powers too. So it's just
The only special power it has is that the attacks are magical.
Okay. Yeah, you should.
Okay. Alright, so we'll start with right. Right. Okay, do I get some back? Or is
You
it
do.
only one for
You
me?
do get it, because you have advantage.
Does she roll
But
it
you have to,
already?
you have to roll it.
I just have to get it ready, guys. I know. Okay, I know.
Well,
Oh, well, now you're gonna
Okay,
need like
yep,
7
I was
more.
about to say, how do you know you're ready though?
I think this thing is dead, but
How many
find
more
out.
do you need?
Did you roll another crit?
Yes.
Oh my god, yes.
She
This is
didn't
the best.
even get to
Well,
roll
you
with
have much
advantage.
here
Her
to go
first
off.
roll was the 20.
Oh my god.
Oh, you get to roll another d4.
Are you sure you need the purple dice? You seem to be
Mara
using the black.
Stormwind, Vampire Slayer.
Did you roll 2d4s last time?
It has a nice ring to it.
But yeah, it didn't matter. But every time.
It's so many points. This is the best part about being a rogue.
That's 20, 30, 40. I'll laugh if it's 56.
No, it's more. 50, 56, 65.
65, you say.
Yes.
Ah! Hunter!
You did 6 more than you needed to kill it. Mara just runs up, flips Raijin around, and plunges it into the top of the skull, where it basically like erupts with lightning damage. And you guys can see, even Thaddeus down the hall can see the lightning flash out across the sewer hall.
Great.
Ooh.
Shadows.
Harmony's coming.
They've got Eli, and that's it. Oh, Eli and Thaddeus.
Would it help, and could I, if I threw my Hook of Mana Ray to the tiger?
Yeah,
So
he's
he can breathe?
unconscious.
He's unconscious. It
So
wouldn't
it
really
doesn't
help
help.
now.
He wouldn't help him breathe because I thought he was underwater.
He just needs a good berry right now.
Yeah.
He's been a good boy.
Okay.
He's floating.
So the shadow attack against Thaddeus is 22, actually.
Shield.
So the shadow of the vampire sort of reaches at you and tries to grab at you, but you cast shield and the Sonahed's moonlight protection protects you. And then one will attack Eli, also a hit.
No.
And Eli will take
And hit by how much?
quite a bit.
So,
14 plus 4, so 18. His AC is like 4.
question. So now that I'm plus to the vampires again with that light spell, does that have an effect on the shadows?
Nope,
Near me?
unfortunately it does not.
What type of damage is it?
Necrotic.
Okay, so good, that's half.
So you're going to take half then of 6, so down to 3.
So 18 plus 3.
No, 18 was attack.
The strength
Oh.
score is reduced by 3.
I was very angry for a second. Because I can see how much HP
Yes.
he has.
Then it's Thaddeus' turn. You still have one vampire menacing you after the other one that was next to it just
Alright.
disintegrated into ash.
2 attacks.
Yeah.
Well, one's a natural 1,
Okay?
and then a 16 hit the other.
So the vampire dodges out of the way of one, but it dodges into the second strike.
9 radiant and 14 cold.
So 23 all told. Anything else from Thaddeus?
No, I mean, he's got to stay here so the vampire doesn't escape to the
Then it is Hunter's turn.
Okay.
You can see there are 2 vampires.
Is Eli still grappled by that one?
No, there's no. Well, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No, he's not
Yeah.
actually, because
He's not?
the mites that crawl all over the bit made him
Oh, right,
so
right,
broke
okay.
the grapple.
Yeah, you kind of knew that's right.
He's
So-
free, and that one looks the most damaged out of all of them at this point.
Alright. So I'm gonna stow my bow. I'll use a bonus to bring out my sword and shield. And I'm gonna walk up to that one next to Eli and make some attacks on it.
Yay!
So the weapon that I had attached is the Kanku short sword that we got earlier on, which I believe is a silver short sword. If that has any additional effects.
It was actually yes, it was silvered. It doesn't have any
Right.
additional effect.
Doesn't have anything? Okay.
Nope.
But it was magical, so it was like +1 or something.
I think it
So-
was, yep. I think it was just magical, not actually a +1 though. I'd have to go double
Okay.
check, but for now, just roll as normal.
Is that
Sure.
the one, is that the one you lent Thaddeus?
Yeah, he left it to you.
No, I gave him just another sword, I think.
Oh yeah, that's all.
Just a different. I have a lot of weapons.
Yeah,
So,
go for it.
oh, this is unfortunate. I rolled a 15 for the first one.
Okay, that just hits.
It does hit? Okay. So I'm going to make that a trip attack. So you should make a DC 19 strength saving throw. We're not prone.
He rolls a natural 1 and falls prone.
Okay. So that's a 15 magic damage. And I'm going to make another attack on him
With
at
advantage.
advantage.
You don't even need to bother because the first one actually lopped off his head
Oh,
as he
okay,
falls
great.
prone.
Then I will walk back to the one that's in the water and start attacking him with my remaining attacks.
You're doing good.
Let's see here. So that is 6 plus. That's an 18 to hit on the first one.
That'll do it.
And then the next one is a 28 to hit.
That'll also do it.
So. Oh, I rolled 2 1s for damage. So that puts me at, let's see, 14, 16 damage, magic slashing.
Okay. Was that total?
That's total.
Okay, anything else from Hunter?
No, I'm gonna stay here
Okay.
to try and block this one a little bit.
Yeah. In that case, it is the vampire's turn. That one's going to kind of climb up onto the shore here. And it's going to make attacks against Hunter. First attack.
Okay.
It's a spectacular miss. Second attack is 19, which is, I believe, is not quite enough with your shield.
Not quite enough. Almost.
And then the one that is against Thaddeus will do the same thing. Rolling a 21 on the first attack.
Is your shield still up? Or behind her?
Shield would still be up, I believe.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, this is.
Because you cast it on the Shadow's turn?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no, but then Thaddeus did have a turn after
Oh,
that.
okay, then shield again.
So that is a hit, unless you want to shield again.
I'm sure.
And then the second attack, wow, actually it might still hit. 23.
Nope, still misses.
So the vampires cannot get into either of your armor. Byakko needs a death save.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
don't
go.
roll one.
Oh, I rolled a natural 1.
What?
What?
Did you?
I did.
Oh no!
There's a little bit of a burst of bubbles from beneath the sewage water,
Wait.
and then everything is still.
He's dead.
Wait.
I thought that was only a 2.
If you roll
Oh,
a natural
yeah.
one, it counts as 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harmony.
That was the only thing.
I literally just said
Oh, no.
don't roll a 1.
You jinxed it! I knew I was going to get a death this
I
time.
told you someone was gonna die today. That's the way things have been going.
That's okay though. At least it
Um,
was only the summon.
Harmony's bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna run over to where the bubbles came out and try to lug Byakko out of the water. If I see,
Oh my god.
do I see it still in the water or is it gone?
It disappeared beneath the water and then you saw the bubbles, so you'd have to dive in if you want to try
It's
and
really
find it.
gross water too. We didn't try
I'm
to-
not diving in. If I can't see him, then
Yeah.
fuck it. Can I like stick my staff in there and see if I poke anything?
Yeah, you're not, the staff doesn't reach very far. You poke around, you feel something solid. Who knows if it's a tiger?
Can I telekinesis it out of the water?
Yeah, you want to use telekinesis
It's
to
now
pull something out?
Yeah.
You use telekinesis and basically pull out a stinky, disgusting cartwheel.
I throw it back.
My phone was picking up my audio and I'm like trying to Google search that and just like, stinky, disgusting cartwheel. You throw it back in the water.
I throw it back in the water.
You could also hurl it at that vampire over there if you wanted to, probably.
That's a good idea. A better idea than just throwing it back in the water. I'm gonna do that.
Go ahead and make a spell attack at disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Yep.
The range is kind of long.
Plus also you used your action to like pull it up, so
Yeah.
this is a freebie anyways.
Probably gonna hit it.
21.
That'll do it. So just roll, we'll say 2d6 bludgeoning damage.
7.
Okay. It seems to be a minor annoyance to it as it kind of turns to you, hisses, it bares its teeth, but nonetheless you did damage.
I did damage.
Eli's turn. I will take care of Eli. So, Eli sees Thaddeus back there, sort of struggling on his own. He sees the vampire that is next to Hunter, and he will cast Ray of Frost, I think, against that vampire. That is menacing Hunter. Range spell attack. Wow, okay, he hits. And it's 2d8 damage at this point. So you watch as a bolt of coal flies out and strikes into the vampire and does 7 points of damage for you, Melissa, since you're paying attention. That's
Which
Eli's
one you
turn.
dodge?
Oh no, that was against the vampire from Eli.
Oh.
I just
You
know she
said
wants
for
to
you,
break it.
Melissa. So
Go
I'm
for
just
it,
like,
write it down. I'm listening. I got it.
You're the one who's not listening,
I am listening.
looking at funny things on the screen. Melissa, it's your turn.
Okay.
She's writing down. It's my book.
So now there's only. Wait. I
There's
can't
only
see
the
where
one
it's at.
next to Hunter.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
You could probably hit it.
You
Might have to
couldn't
get
get next to
closer.
it. You could throw daggers. You could short bow.
Yeah. Can I move first and then do
Yeah.
the short bow?
Move up here, you'll be
My
fine.
best range. Or wait, no, my best
Yeah.
angle. Okay. I will roll first. 11.
11 doesn't quite do it. So which dagger was that?
No, it was my short bow.
Oh, short bow, right. So the arrow goes whistling off into the darkness, nearly striking into Thaddeus as it goes down the hallway. Anything else from Mara?
Good. Any movement plan?
A little bit.
You have about 10.
I'm gonna go stand by Hunter.
You can get up to here.
Okay.
Then it's the shadows. There's only one against Thaddeus and one against Hunter. The one against Thaddeus misses completely with both since you still have your shield up. And the one against... Oh wait, it only gets one attack, so it misses. And then the one against Hunter also fails to wrap its shadowy form around him. So then it is Thaddeus' turn.
2 more attacks. And it's
These
combat.
could be the ones that will kill.
Probably. Yeah, these will both hit. It's a 16 to 15 die.
That'll do
Why
it.
not? Same thing. They're all.
Here's not much. Oh no!
Good. 22 radiant
Clearly.
and 24 cold.
And that is enough. As divine light from your sword flares out, the creature shrieks and recoils from it, but it leaves a nasty burn across its chest as it just falls back into the sewer water.
Alright, and then I'm going to move my full speed forward.
You'll basically get onto the map
Yeah.
here. Let's see.
Alright, cool.
Hey, it's Thaddeus.
Then it is Hunter's turn. I'm gonna say since there's just one more vampire, that you guys can pretty easily dispatch this thing throughout the next round. So I'm just going to bring us out of initiative there.
You're good on your concentration.
What happened to those 2 other ones?
They're the ones that you ran into in the tunnel and took.
No,
care of.
no, no.
The 2 I banished after the minute
These 2
is up.
X's here.
Oh, good question. A minute passes, and your concentration ends, and the creature with the... Sorry?
But before a minute passes, can I run to where Biako was and try and pull him out of the sewage water?
Yeah, we'll take care of that in just a second. But
Sure.
I'm just going to narrate what happens with these guys.
Okay.
A minute passes, and your concentration lapses, and you expect to possibly see some creatures pop back into existence. And indeed, one vampire does. But the finned, gaunt, hungry creature does not reappear. And between all of you, you're more than well prepared enough to just beat down this vampire and take care of it before it can escape. So that is the end of that combat. As silence sort of comes into the chamber once again, Hunter goes fishing for Byakko. And as you sort of wade into the sludge a little bit, there's no sign of a body at all.
I kind of figured.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Hunter. I tried to get him out. I don't know
Well-
what happened to him. It was like he was there and then there were bubbles and then he was gone. I found that wagon wheel though.
Do I have any explanation of what happened to his body?
You could roll a Arcana check.
Sure.
We'll say at advantage because of your spirit knowledge.
Okay, sure. So I got a 16 on die plus something. 2, so 18.
Okay.
Why couldn't I roll that for the death save?
It's not the case for all spirits, but for many powerful spirits, some spirits when they're killed in this material plane, they're dead for good. But some powerful spirits, like many fiends and other creatures from other planes, when they're killed in this plane, will return to the spiritual plane, the spiritual realm, and then go back to dwelling there, or sometimes they return to this world. It's varied, but if it's a powerful spirit, there's a chance that it has gone back to its plane, essentially.
Okay. And so I believe that happened to Bianco.
It would make sense for why its body's not here.
So then I would respond to Harmony and say, well, thankfully, since I can't find him here, I believe that he's back in the spiritual plane. But I think it was more important to rush to everyone's aid here first before assisting him, because we don't have that luxury.
Are you
So-
gonna be okay? Is he
I
gonna be
think he will return.
Are you okay?
So, am I okay?
Yeah.
I think I'll be okay.
Okay.
The good news is that none of them got past me. Did any escape elsewhere? Did you handle all of them?
Yeah,
Weren't
good
there
to
a
see you were
couple
here.
that ran down this way?
Those are the ones I
No.
Oh.
Not towards the town, but I thought there were a couple
Yeah,
that ran out this
there
way.
was one that was there, but Eli grabbed it.
Oh, Eli did grab it and bring it back. Even last week.
Oh, you're talking about the one who was frightened. Yeah, he ran that way a little bit and then made his save and came back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And that was the one that Eli grabbed.
Okay. So then, yeah, I think we got them all.
Good.
Wait, what happened with the baby?
Yeah, they named it after you?
I hope not. They took care of the problems. And
Problems?
There were
There were problems?
some problems, but when I left, they were taken care of. It should be fine.
Let's see.
Yes, let's.
Yeah.
It's that moment where the group of you turn to go and see what happened with the baby, where you feel almost each one of you feels a presence as if something is watching you. It's that kind of feeling where the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And as you kind of turn and look around, you can't see anything beyond the edge of Thaddeus' glowing sword or the light that was cast on Hunter's shield. And Eli turns to the group of you and says, "Do you guys feel that?"
Divine sense.
Maybe we shouldn't.
As your divine sense extends, you feel an undead presence from all around, like just beyond the edge of the light. It's as if it is perfectly surrounding the edge of your sword. And then you hear a voice echo out through the dark chambers of the tunnel, and it just starts with a low chuckle. "So, you're stronger than you look. This should be interesting." And then Thaddeus, you feel the presence disappear entirely.
I'm gonna run back toward the out of the sewer, away from the town, and just shout, "I know you're watching, you big asshole! We're gonna kick your butt!"
Harmony.
As you run that way out of the light and into the darkness, you feel as if something brushes against your leg a couple times
I'm gonna hit
as
it
you're
with my
shouting
staff.
this. Whiffs through the air, there's nothing there.
We're here for you, Alkeen. You can count on that. And then I turn around and walk back.
Yeah, it's just silence. Your voice echoes throughout the sewers, but there's no response.
I didn't expect one.
Yeah, and as you head back into the town, as you get maybe...
On the way back, can I recover any of the arrows I shot?
In this situation, since they would have been going into the sewers and things like that, I'm going to say probably not.
No? Okay.
They're all fouled up.
Yeah. Unless you want to go, like,
Fine.
diving through the sewer.
Not any more than I have to, no.
Yep.
We can go back.
Did you ever jump
I'll
in
make
the
more.
sewer water?
No
You
one did.
guys prevented me when I was.
Yeah.
You were like, that's really gross.
Well, I was thinking that my cloak of mana ray would be like a bubble, and I wouldn't actually touch the water. It would be like full of air.
You'd be like breathing water.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be pretty gross.
Pretty.
You make your way back to the town, and you get not too far down the tunnel, maybe about a minute in, before you hear footsteps running down the tunnel towards you, and you can hear the clanking of armor and things like that. and you run into the guards who have come to catch up with you. And the one who's in the lead is a burly-looking woman. She's got a leather shield of some kind, but it looks very like worn, like it might have been a training shield. It's not an actual shield. And she has like a notched and broken long sword at her hip. And she catches up and she says, Sir Hammerlock, the rest of you, Harmony, Mara, I heard your name's from Jeremiah.
Everything's fine here.
Everything's taken care of?
Everything's fine here. What's happened back at the camp?
And as you, even from this distance, you can sort of hear the faint, now that you're getting a little bit closer, you can hear the faint echoes of screams coming from down the tunnels. And she says, well, it's loud. I haven't gone into the tent. I don't know what's going on, but we've been ordered to back you up. You say everything's fine?
We took care of all of them. Well, I say we, most of them.
Okay, well, we'll take your word for it. We're going to go down a little bit farther down the tunnel, and we'll see what we can do to... Was anyone alive? Were the rest of the guards okay?
No.
And she looks at the ground and basically just swears quietly to herself. And you can see that the rest of the guards that are with her also get really... their spirits kind of fall a little bit too. And she says, well, we'll do what we can to clean up.
They fought bravely and they held them off until we got there. Their deaths were not in vain.
How many bodies are there here?
You mean back in the sewer?
Yeah.
There were maybe like 5 guard bodies plus 8 vampire bodies.
Yeah, I'm honestly curious with the guards. No.
And one pile of dust.
And
Yeah.
So yeah, seven vampire bodies and 1
Alright.
pile of
Yeah, we'll just go back.
Okay. And it's as you're starting to part ways from them that you hear another sound coming from behind the direction you just came from. Low groans, and it sounds like several of them. And from the edge of your light, you begin to see... you've seen these creatures before, Harmony and Hunter, and you know they're no threat compared to what you just witnessed, but there are several zombies lumbering down, coming from around the corners and lumbering down this passageway.
I'll like sigh and walk over and start to clean up.
Okay, so Thaddeus then the rest of the guards begin to rush towards those, and they say, we can take care of these if you guys need to rest.
I can take care of anything you can.
Okay, so Thaddeus rushes
I
forward.
like grab Eli and make sure he doesn't run after him.
Eli was making a motion to run after.
I like grab him. No, not you.
It's
I'll
Harmony,
follow
I'm
Thaddeus
okay,
and help
I'm
him.
fine.
I know, but we need to rest.
Is Hunter gonna help?
Yeah.
Okay, Mara?
I'm gonna go help go back with.
Okay, so the 3 of you go back to take a rest while Hunter, Thaddeus, and the guards begin to rush forward to take the zombies. And this isn't going to be a combat, per se. It's just sort of something that is happening over the time while you guys are resting back at camp. What I need from Hunter and Thaddeus is for you to tell me sort of how many hit points of damage you will take in this combat. So, the reason I ask is because the more that you
Probably
take,
0.
the more that you take onto yourself, the less the guards will be hurt while you're fighting, basically. So I'm asking how much you're protecting the guards, how much you're covering for yourself.
I'll take 30.
30 points of damage,
I'll take 40.
40 points of damage, so 70 total. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a harrowing fight between these hordes and hordes of zombies. There must be like 50 or some that just continuously come lumber. Every time you think you've cleaned them up, another 10 appear. Some crawling out from the sewers, some coming from around corners, and they just lumber towards you like endlessly almost. And this fight goes on for what must be hours, it feels like. And so by the time you end the fight, you've taken that many points of damage, and only 1 guard has been lost. And the group of you are able to go back to the camp and get a little bit of rest, uneasy as it is because Helen is screaming so much. But after hours of zombies assaulting Hunter and Thaddeus, finally, the tunnels seem to come to a quiet, and the guards sort of slump back against the walls. Even you guys are pretty exhausted as well. We wouldn't have been able to manage that without you, Sir Hammerlock. And what can I call you? She looks at Hunter.
Hunter.
Thank you for your help and for your protection. Many of these men would have been lost, and she gestures towards the
And I'll nod at him.
remaining 8 that are here with her.
Many already were. I was eventually them.
Yes, well, be that as it may. Hopefully that's the last we see of that for several days. That's the first time we've seen any sort of attack since we got down here.
I'm worried they may have followed us. I think that is says Tommy.
Sorry, what did you say to me?
I'm worried they may have followed us.
Me too. Is there a way? Well, I guess we've been sort of eyeing those shadows. I think the players have, so I'm guessing that that's probably why we were followed. But
I don't think we should stay long.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, so at this point you're free to head back down the tunnel. What are Mara and Harmony and Eli getting up to during their short rest? After Eli takes a little bit of a rest to patch up his wounds and things like that, he rushes off to... It's the alarm. He rushes off to the birthing tent to see what he can do to help. Okay. As you guys together, the 3 of you, open up the...
Wait, you get a short rest.
Yeah, you get a short rest. Thaddeus and Hunter will not, unfortunately.
Yep.
I'm still at full HP.
Oh yeah.
That's why I
We were
lost
all
30
like
hit points. That's how many lay on hands I have.
No, nice. So you basically, when everyone's slumping down against the walls, you're just sort of healing the wounds and things like that. Perfect.
So are we taking a short rest? Is that what I heard?
No,
Not you,
Not me? Okay.
yeah, the others. Not
because
you.
you guys went off to fight.
Okay. So do we have time after the fighting to do it or not?
After the fight, yeah, you can come back to the camp and do that while everyone else is sort of checking on
Okay.
the birth that is going on.
I'm going to use some hit dice then.
Okay.
So that's not bad.
Okay,
Ready?
yeah, sorry.
So what happens to the necrotic damage now from the strength? I'm gonna get that back
Ethan.
on the rest.
I used 6 hit die.
Okay. Good
I'm
to
marking on my sheet.
We can talk about that in just a second. But
Okay.
anything that hurt your maximum hit points and your strength decreases aren't going to come back after a short rest. So they might come back after a long, you might have to have some other healing, but we
Okay,
can talk about that in a second.
alright.
As you open up the tent flap, after you guys have been gone from here for about maybe 2 hours or so, Helen is still deep into labor, and you can see that she is sweating, and the nurses that are sort of attending her are working on keeping her sweating down, keeping her. Jeremiah is keeping her calm, seeming very calm himself now at this point. Very different from when Thaddeus left, or when Thaddeus before Thaddeus calmed him. Dawn seems to be sort of expended. She's very, very tired. You can see that her shoulders are kind of drooping at this point. Harmony, you recognize the look of a spellcaster who has spent most of their magical energy. And Dawn sort of sees you come in and says, "Ah, thank goodness you're here.
What can we do?
The baby's almost arrived. I think a few more, another good hour or 2 of pushing, and the baby will be out. But Helen's losing a lot of blood, and it's taken all that I can to keep her alive." And she looks at Eli and she says, "You're a cleric, right? Do you have any healing?" And Eli How many spell slots did he use?
He's got 3 first levels left, 1 second level, all of his thirds, and 1 fourth.
Yeah, so he looks back to Dawn and says, I have a couple things I can do. And he rolls up his sleeves. And you can see he...
And he's got his healing hands.
that's the first thing he does, is he reaches to her forehead and he lays on his hands onto her head. And you can see that a light glows from his hand and sort of washes over her body. And the blood flow stops a little bit. But the next thing he does is he begins to cast a spell, and as he does so, you watch as his angelic wings begin to manifest. Those angel feathered wings that are sort of created out of light appear out of his back, and it's almost like a reassuring presence washes over the entire room as he casts Beacon of Hope, and you can see Helen begins to have a lot easier time pushing to make this baby come out. And then as he does that, he begins to administer other healing spells. Little by little. Okay, that's helpful.
That's what I'm doing, because I
You
see how
catch-
the other people are just,
You catch glances of appreciation from the nurses, who are at this point just covered in blood.
yeah, I just start cleaning people up, because that's the best, that's about all I can do. I also have good berries.
But fortunately, within the next few hours, just before Thaddeus is about to return, the baby is delivered, and it comes out crying, and Helen's kind of collapses and falls asleep pretty quickly. Still bleeding, but with Eli's assistance, the blood kind of slowly, eventually stops. And you're left there, basically, with Helen unconscious, but breathing, and Jeremiah holding the newborn baby, with Eli and Dawn kind of slumped in the corner, exhausted, pretty much all their spells expended.
I like give them the stupid berry.
And Thaddeus, this is the scene that you walk back in on. You see Eli and Dawn just completely exhausted at the side of the tent, but Jeremiah holding the baby, and as you walk in, he looks up and he says, Sir Hammerlock, and his eyes are filled with tears. He says, this child wouldn't be here if it weren't for you and your friends. And he looks to Dawn, and he looks to Eli, and he looks to you, and Harmony, and pretty much everyone in the room. He says, you defended us while our guards were, while they weren't enough, and you helped deliver the baby and to rescue my wife. I owe you everything. And he looks to, hold on, let me determine whether this baby is male or female. We'll say odd is male, even is
You
female.
rolled first, and then you decided.
The baby is a girl. It's kind of wrapped up in cloths. He looks to Dawn and says, would you mind if I named it after you? And Dawn is like flustered and taken aback, but she gives like kind of a solemn nod. He says, all right, then we'll call her Dawn.
I think Eli's got her. I have to use
Who
control.
are you? Who are you now?
Who are you now?
Thaddeus is going to go over and kneel next to Eli. So you did well.
And Eli looks up at you and says, really?
In the battle and here.
I'm exhausted. I
It
feel
is.
so weak.
It is exhausting.
I didn't think. I've got to confess, for a while I thought I was dead. When it grabbed me from behind, I was terrified. But then I looked back and I saw you, and I looked across the way and I saw Harmony, and then I knew it'd be okay. And it was.
If there's any wood around, I'll make a trail.
Yeah, there are like the scraps of crates and things like that out in the main area. If you wanted to
Is that
repurpose some
what
of
you're
those to
doing?
make
Well, the baby's being born, you're like, you'll think it could.
would you make a carpenter tools check then for me?
With I'll use some of my little.
So dexterity plus proficiency. and since you're proficient, you can't roll lower than 10. So in other words, you automatically succeed. Roll it if you want. We'll see if it's a natural 20 or something.
Critical crit.
Critical crit. Critical crit.
19.
Plus dex plus proficiency. So it's more than that. It's plus 9.
So like 20.
24.
24.
Jeez.
Even though it's just made from cribs, or from cribs, from crates and things like that, the crib that you fashion is actually very elegant and sturdy. And when you sort of push it into the tent, you can see that Jeremiah does like a double take. So where did you find that? Where did you find that?
It's magic.
It's incredible. I had no idea that you were gifted. I guess I don't know much about you to begin with, but you didn't strike me as the type. That's besides the point. It's incredible. Thank you. And I think, he sort of, Helen eventually wakes up, and Jeremiah places the baby in Helen's arm, and Helen takes her turn to sort of thank the group of you. But eventually you're sort of ushered out of the tent to leave the group to their devices, and you find yourself sort of just out in the main Nexus area with yourselves just in a group.
Where was Alan in all this?
Alan was nowhere near the birthing, and he was not in the fighting. He was sort of watching over the orphans. You can see off in the corner, he had them all getting ready to fight. If the vampires, if the undead got this far, but he didn't take any sort of hand in any of that.
Okay. So he's okay, that's good. Didn't get kidnapped.
I'm gonna walk next to Eli, and I'm gonna say, "Long day, huh?"
About the longest I've ever had. Yeah.
That was pretty
Harmony,
scary.
when you got rid of that big, scary creature with the maw,
Yeah.
that was incredible. I thought we were done for.
I wasn't sure.
When I saw it come around the corner,
I wasn't sure it was gonna work, but then I saw that one grab you, and I didn't know I had to try.
if I'm honest, that was the moment when I knew we'd be okay. When you made them disappear. I was a little unsure until then.
Yeah, it was. But you did great. I
didn't really do much of anything.
Well, that like earth hand thing that you can make, that's really cool. I can't do that.
That one's really easy. I could maybe teach it to you. If you
That might
want.
be cool. I might be able to teach you the making things to scare things too.
I don't know.
It's a little bit more difficult, but
I don't know exactly how my sort of more nature-based magic would translate to your more wild magic, but we could try.
yeah.
That'd be fun. I'd like that. And he kind of gives you a dorky little smile.
I expect Harmony's tail to be like wagging happily.
It's a cat tail, not a dog tail, so it like flicks around.
Oh, it flicks around? Okay,
Yeah, like a cat's. Yeah.
And
What you-
think of that potion?
What you did in there with that spell that you cast that just made everything feel better, that was incredible. And even if you try to teach that to me, I couldn't. So I'm glad you came with us.
Yeah. I hope I can be useful.
You already are.
And he blushes a little bit. His cheeks turn a little purple since he's already a little blue. He kind of looks away. And then he sort of mutters, I'm nowhere near useful as the rest of you. Maybe someday. He looks up and he gives a smile.
So are we gonna make camp or what? I don't think we can go to the Raven Plains Shrine now.
I would like to go back to the settlements.
Okay.
I don't think it's good for this camp for us.
I agree.
If they already know the location, though, wouldn't it be best to stay here?
Wasn't Alan gonna show us where the
Oh yeah, that's true.
shrine was?
Do we have it in us to go to the shrine and then make camp after that?
We could cave in the tunnel.
This is only the only entrance, though.
Exactly.
Or
Well,
exit,
we
I
can
guess.
cave in the tunnel and then I can make a door. I can make a door tomorrow when we're ready to leave. At least then it would be safe before we leave. Or it would be safe to sleep here.
Would you? Sorry, I'm a little stuck at you.
Just how many times did you get bit today, Mara? Did you lose too much blood? Maybe you should sit down.
I didn't do many rebels.
Have we talked to Alan about whether or not it's good to take the tunnel in?
I mean, I just thought of it, so no.
They may need that route for supplies.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I'm just saying for tonight, and then we can clear it. I can clear it away tomorrow.
Okay.
They might
If they're going out at night, they're stupid. You saw what came down here during the day.
so there's no good thing.
No, I could probably craft use my amulet to craft some sort of a entrance way after we keep it in. Do I feel like that's something I could do?
Yeah, with fabricate, probably.
To like fabricate the stones and
Mhm. Yeah, you can probably do that.
Yeah, so I can do that tomorrow morning before we leave. And if we cave it in before we sleep, then at least we know that we'll be safe overnight.
Alright, let's do that.
And maybe a doorway would be easier to protect than a big tunnel.
That'll work. I know you want to.
I would rather, if we're gonna go out, be fully prepared for anything.
Alright, let's do that.
Then how are you going to collapse the tunnel? This will be the last thing we do tonight. We'll end the episode.
I assumed you were going to use that telekinesis.
Okay, yeah, so you just gotta use telekinesis to pull
Pull
stones
stuff.
down. Yeah, that works after maybe like an hour of work with the ring, but you managed to block off the entranceway entirely, sealing this area off in complete darkness. And then as you make your way back to camp, the group of you reconvene, set up, and roll out bedrolls and go to sleep for a long rest. So that's where we'll close tonight's episode. And yeah, we stream hope everyone who watched enjoyed. We stream every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, so we'll be back here then. This episode will go up on YouTube on Wednesday. The VOD will be up on Twitch immediately after. And we hope to see you back again sometime soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Bye!